What's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of NVTV. Hey everybody, today we're here with Drew Williams, who works for Advanced Heating and Cooling. They have been kind enough to meet with us so we can give you guys some more information on how to save on your energy bill, which can make a big difference in your budget. To start off, what are some of the best tips you can give people to help them save on their energy bill?
Generally speaking, home efficiency in general is going to come down to windows, quality of windows, age of windows, how good they are at keeping the warm air in and the cold air out. Of course, insulation in the home, both in the exterior walls and in the attic. And of course, your heating equipment, whether you're heating with a furnace, heat pump, propane, natural gas, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that you are running safely and efficiently. Taking a look at windows, typically we are looking around the framing and the casing of the window to make sure that there's nowhere that you can see light passing through where it shouldn't. You know, something else that you can do is just kind of run your hand around and see if you feel any drafts or any cold air coming in through the window. You know, these are going to be signs that it's probably not keeping the air out the way we want it to, keeping the cold air out the way we want it to, and keeping the warm air in. So those are some things to look out for.
So what are the biggest mistakes you see in residential homes when you're going door to door?
A lot of people don't even realize that they actually have a filter on their furnace. So probably the most common mistake that we see, especially residentially, is going to be changing your furnace filters regularly. When we get calls, not only in the winter but the summer as well, that's the first question we ask. When was the last time your furnace filter was changed? Sometimes folks are like, I didn't even know I had a furnace filter. So just make sure that you're staying up to speed on that. Another thing is non-programmable thermostats. With everything that we're capable of today, you know, there's no reason why people shouldn't have a programmable thermostat in their home to set those temperatures back a little bit during times that you don't necessarily need it. For example, let's say you're gone all day at work or off to school, or even a lot of people don't like to keep it as warm in their house during the nighttime hours when they're sleeping. So these are times that you can set your thermostat back and you can actually program the thermostat to do that on its own and know that at certain hours of the day it needs to scale back. This is going to do a lot in the way of heating efficiency and helping keep those bills down in the wintertime.
What do you think about the new apps they have that are out there that you can control the temperature in your home while you're at work?
Honestly, most of the thermostats that we're installing today have that feature. Whether or not you want to take advantage of it or not is entirely up to you. The cool thing about any and all of our thermostats is that you don't necessarily have to get a new furnace to get a new thermostat. You know, consider putting that programmable or Wi-Fi thermostat in just as its own accessory or its own upgrade by itself. Those aren't things that we necessarily have to change the full system to take advantage of and get some energy savings out of. But the Wi-Fi thermostats, the remote link from your smartphone, at least half of our installs are probably going with them, maybe more. So it's an easy upgrade, you know, and it really helps save on heating bills.
Well, and that's good to know because I think a lot of people would think if you're going to get that kind of a feature, you would have to upgrade your furnace.
Absolutely.
To coincide with that. So I think that's really good for all of us to know that you can have that kind of an app without having to completely, you know, redo your whole system.
It makes it really nice. And, you know, you can do it together or you can just go with the new thermostat. So yeah, it's not something that you necessarily have to consider a whole system replacement with to take advantage of the benefits of a programmable thermostat.
What do you suggest people do to start getting their heating system ready for the colder months, because we're getting pretty close?
Sure. Some general things that you can do on your own is just, you know, walk around your house and assess a couple of different things. Number one, your insulation. You know, if there's a spot in your home that you can maybe get your head into an attic access just to take a peek, we don't want to see any exposed wooden trusses up there. If your insulation in your attic has settled to a point where you can see those trusses in the attic, you know, you might want to further investigate, probably get a contractor or a professional in there to take a look and see how we might be able to upgrade the insulation in the attic. You know, there are some ways that you can, it's not easy, but there are some ways that you can look into seeing what the insulation's like in the exterior walls. Another place to check, of course, is with the windows in the home. You know, over time they age and they start to lose some of their value. and they become leaky or drafty. Just walk around and take a look at your windows and see, hold your hand in front of there and see if you're feeling any draft or anything like that, or just visibly can see any light passing through where it shouldn't. And you might get someone in to take a look at your windows as well.
Are there any maintenance tips that you think people should be looking at for their actual heating system?
Absolutely.
Come time to turn it on?
Absolutely. Number one, we talked about the furnace filter earlier. Always make sure that furnace filter is changed. Number two, of course, the programmable thermostat. If you haven't already made the upgrade, get someone in and see what it would be, to upgrade to a programmable thermostat. These are easy things that you can do on your own. Beyond that, we don't recommend that anyone, unless you are a licensed professional or contractor, we don't recommend that anyone put your hands inside of a furnace or anything like that.
Definitely.
There's a lot of electrical connections, there's a lot of gas connections inside this equipment. So unless you are a licensed professional, we don't recommend anything in the way of getting in there. Give us a shout. Get us out there, start thinking about it in the late summer months. I know it seems odd to consider your heating when it's still warm outside, but companies are going to get busy with emergency calls. Start thinking about it now. Get us out there to assess the situation. At least schedule maybe a month in advance, and then that way you're not stuck trying to play catch up in the middle of the winter if there is a problem or something that needs addressed.
Definitely. That's great advice. What are some creative things that you have seen in your industry going to other people's homes that they have tried to do to keep their energy efficiency up?
I've seen a lot of different ways that people have, come up with ways to keep the heat inside the home. A good way, or one good option, would be to reverse the flow of your ceiling fans. If they're running counterclockwise, that's going to pull the air up off the floor. But what we actually want to do in the wintertime is reverse that and run it clockwise, so where it's actually pushing the heat back down. That's going to help keep the warm air down here where we're living and where the thermostat is, and that's going to help offset how much the furnace needs to run. Another cool way to help keep the heat inside the home during the winter is actually open your blinds during the day, especially on sunny days, and let those windows allow that sun to radiate in and warm up the home. That's also going to offset how much the furnace needs to run, and it's gonna keep it a little bit warmer inside the home. Now, when the sun goes down, you want to make sure and pull those blinds back down, to keep that heat inside the home, that warmth inside the home, but opening the blinds during the daytime especially to let the sun in, it's another creative way. Window locks. On operable windows, just go around and check your window locks and actually make sure that the window lock is in the lock position. This will actually provide an even tighter seal on the window, again helping to keep that warm air inside the home where we want it.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
When it comes to space heaters, if you can avoid using them, we recommend not. But if you're going to use it, just make sure you're up to speed with the safety precautions. No extension cords.
Right.
Don't leave it running for 3 days while you're out. Don't even leave it running if you're going to leave the home. If you need to use a space heater, make sure that you understand what safety precautions come along with it.
What are the most efficient systems that could be in a home?
Whether you're heating with, a gas forced air furnace, propane, electric, heat pump, geothermal, wood, whatever the case might be, there's going to be different levels of efficiency inside all of those heating sources. What you want to know is, and what our responsibility to you as a company, make sure you know what's available to you. We can come in and come in with entry-level efficiency, that's going to be a good system for you, but you might want to know what the most efficient options are. So again, what our responsibility is make sure you know what's available to you, not just equipment brands, but then the levels of efficiency within those equipment brands. The other half of that is going to be installation. There are a million different people out here today putting in heating and cooling equipment, and there's also a million different ways to research these companies. What you want to do is go online, research these companies, make sure that they have reviews, that, Facebook, Better Business Bureau, Angie's List, go out and research the companies that you're considering to come in and take care of your install, because you can take the highest efficiency, nicest piece of equipment, and if you don't get a good installation with it, it quickly becomes not so great.
Right. At what point do you think it is a good idea to replace your heating system?
On an old system, a lot of people have that mentality of if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I get that.
Definitely,
I really do. It's at least worth considering because there's a lot that we can do, not only in the way of energy efficiency and really reduce those heating bills, but comfort as well. You know, not to mention the peace of mind that comes along with the furnace upgrade. Again, you don't want to be stuck in the middle of the winter because you thought, that old furnace, it's never given me any problems before. You know, it could be on its last leg and you could be close to considering replacement anyway. The right thing to do is get ahead of the situation, get someone out there to inspect everything prior to the super cold months, and let's address it before it's an emergency. You don't want to get caught in the middle of the winter when companies are busy with emergencies already, and here you are stuck without heat. Let's get in front of it. Let's take care of it ahead of time.
Right.
Once you get to that 15-year plus mark on any piece of heating and cooling equipment, be careful about what kind of money you're putting into repairs. If you are having issues and someone comes out and tells you that you need a repair, just make sure that you know what your options are in terms of repair versus replacement. Once we get beyond that 15-year mark, it might make sense to at least consider the upgrade as opposed to the repair.
Mm-hmm. What other tips or tricks do you have that we can let everybody know that can help them?
Mm-hmm. In addition to, of course, making sure that your furnace filters are changed, you got that programmable thermostat in place. Inspect the windows, inspect the insulation, and just make sure that everything is as good as it can be. Some other things that you want to do are double check the batteries and carbon monoxide detectors and smoke detectors.
Definitely.
If you have a sump pump in your home, slowly pour a few gallons of water into it just to make sure that it turns on and it's working properly. Mm-hmm. Of course, have someone out to inspect your heating equipment to make sure that it is in safe operation, it's running efficiently and it's not going to sneak up on you and cause you problems in the middle of the winter.
Right. How often do you think people should have their furnace or heating system looked at just to make sure it's running in good condition?
Sure. We recommend every fall, every late summer or early fall. Have us out, take a look at everything. It's not going to hurt to get in front of it. You're just protecting your investment, you're protecting your home, protecting your family. So once a year, have it inspected, and then that way, again, it doesn't sneak up on you and you're not stuck trying to play catch up in the middle of the winter.
Well, thanks for coming today, Drew, and giving us these tips. I think everyone can take something away from this that can help. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up?
I think we covered everything.
All right, awesome.
If anyone ever has any questions about heating, cooling, anything at all, just give us a shout.
Definitely. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week for the next episode of NVTV.